for joining us, including the Honorable Chairman Ren Hongjin, China Council Promotion of International. The Honorable Lin Chunji, China International Exhibition Center. The Honorable Consul General Wang Baodong. Honorable Congressman Jonathan Jackson, U.S. Representative for Illinois 1st Congressional District. All right. Former Mayor of Chicago, the Honorable Lori Lakeland. Coming soon, the former Governor of Illinois, the Honorable Pat Quinn. The Honorable LaShawn Porsche, Illinois State Representative, 8th District. The Mayor of Maywood, Illinois, the Honorable Nathaniel Booker. And Sam Petrota, Chairman of Global Knowledge Initiative, joining us from Washington, D.C. I would also like to thank the organizers of this event, the China Council for Promotion of International Trade, as well as the China General Chamber of Commerce of Chicago. So with that, thank you all for being here. I'm looking forward to introducing the impressive slate of speakers to you this morning. And I would also like to introduce a longtime friend and board member of World Business Chicago and champion of Chicago and the important connection to the dry business and economic activity, Tim Needs, Chairman of CGCC Chicago.
Good morning, and I just recognized we made a big mistake and that we should have done this. So sorry, next time we will make sure when Chairman Lynch comes back here, we will do a much bigger event. And we actually have to turn down a lot of people today. But anyway, so thank you for coming here. Honorable Chairman Hongjin, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. On behalf of China General Chamber of Commerce Chicago, it is my great honor to welcome you to the U.S.-China Economic and Trade Cooperation Forum, jointly organized by China Council for Promotion of International Trade and CGCC Chicago. So 2026 is a crucial year for U.S.-China relations. And fortunately, both of our countries have strong leaders, and both of our presidents have shown a great commitment to a strong engagement. As articulated during President Trump's recent visit to China, a constructive relationship of strategic stability between the U.S.-China will set the course of this partnership, which should greatly advance the well-being of the entire world, as well as benefit the people in our two countries. We are all the stakeholders of this important relationship, and this community has a unique role to play in building the trust and creating opportunities. So I'm so glad that we're all here today to add more substance to this vision. So let me take this opportunity to extend a special welcome to our friend who traveled all the way from China, led by CCPIT. I'm sorry yesterday was a little difficult, but you brought us some very nice weather here in Chicago, so thank you. And usually when China delegation visit the United States, oftentimes the East Coast and the West Coast are the desired destination. I once met with a person, a visitor, who even asked, would it exactly to the West? So the good news is that today we have so many leaders here. Mayor Lightfoot, Governor Quinn is going to join us, and Representative LaShawn Ford, and many others, I think Dr. DJ and many others. Mike, and so I'm sure they can explain what do we have in the Midwest beyond just the cornfield. I would like to offer my own argument. So if you pick the first, this is my copyright, okay? So if you pick the first 5 letters of the word, Chicago, C-I-C-A, that matches 80% of the world, China. So Midwest can be the center of the U.S.-China trade relation. And in fact, Chicago, there can be the witness, Chicago has become an important new home for many Chinese investment. I think the Goshen is here as a perfect example. And given the global warming, I can assure you that, and I've been here for 30 years, I can assure you that even Chicago's winter can be very beautiful. I would also like to thank our co-host, World Business Chicago and Citibank, as well as all our participants and panelists here today. And your strong support made this forum possible. And there's no question, U.S.-China have very different culture, very different history, very different system, very different structure. And the U.S.-China will have disagreement on many different sense. Just like those that exist here today between Republican and Democratic, we have both here as well. And but that should not stop us from working together toward the same goal. Similarly to our business, more fair compromising, more open dialogue, more constructive conversation will lead us to shared prosperity, which is important to our future. So later this year, World Business Chicago and the CGC Chicago will lead another delegation to China, including 2 of former Midwest governors. And we are looking forward to visiting Beijing, Shanghai, Shenzhen, and hopefully we will meet our friend at the CCPIT again to continue this exciting journey. So anyway, so thank you for your participation. I wish you a productive forum and a wonderful stay in Chicago. Thank you.
And with that, I would like to introduce our next speaker. Welcome remarks by Huajin Bao, Managing Director, Head of Industrials and City Commercial Bank.
Good morning, everyone. 各位嘉宾早上好. First, I'd like to thank Chairman Yi and the China General Chamber of Commerce Chicago for inviting Citi to co-host this event. We are delighted to join you in welcoming the China Council for the Promotion of International Trade and the distinguished representative from China leading industries. When people think about Citi, they naturally think about banking. But some of Citi's most enduring contributions are woven into the growth story of the communities we serve. Here in Chicago, more than a century ago, Citi helped finance development of Chicago's iconic elevated rail system, the L, and played a role in financing major railroads that helped establish Chicago as one of the most important transportation and commercial hubs in the United States. Those investments help connect people, markets, and opportunities, and that remain at the heart of what we do today. If the Midwest were considered as a standalone economy, just equal to Chairman Yi's comments earlier, it would rank among the largest in the world, only after the United States and China. The region remains a global leader in manufacturing, agriculture, logistics, healthcare, technology, and advanced industrial innovation. For companies seeking opportunity in the United States, Midwest offers exceptional talent, scale, infrastructure, and a strong tradition of international trade and investment. Citi is uniquely positioned to support these connections. We operate in more than 180 countries and jurisdictions around the world, serving corporations, governments, investors, and institutions with cross-border needs. Across North America, Citi supports companies of all sizes, from multinational corporations to fast-growing business, supporting their financing, provide strategic advice, capital market success, trade and trade solutions, and cross-border capabilities. Cities in China dates back to 1902, making us one of the first American banks to operate in China. Today, we serve many of the world's leading multinational companies in China, as well as leading Chinese enterprise as they expand globally. So this unique history spans both China and the United States, gave us a deep appreciation for the value of international partnership. We are delighted to welcome you to Chicago and hope your visit will create opportunity to deepen the relationship, explore new partnerships, and strengthen the economic ties between China and the Midwest. Thank you for joining us this morning. We look forward to a productive discussion and many opportunities to work together in the future. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Now I'd like to welcome up to the podium Lin Chunjie, Chairman, China International Exhibition Center Group Corporation.
Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I'm a pleasure to be here in this beautiful city. Chicago is called the windy city, as I know, because of the wind of the Lake of Michigan. But I've also heard that it's because people of Chicago talk a lot. But I also felt that I'm here to do both. Today I'm gonna talk about the China International Supply Chain Expo. I'll talk a lot, and hopefully I'll blow you away. So today we find ourselves in an era of what we can only describe as structural uncertainty. This is not merely a temporary disruption in the global economy. It is a fundamental reshaping unfolding before our eyes. The combined forces of AI and the geopolitical reliance are compelling us to reconsider the most basic questions. How do we produce? How do we trade and invest? And perhaps most fundamentally, how do we connect with one another in such a world that is changing this profoundly? These are precisely the questions CISE was built to answer. Launched in 2023 by the China Council for the Promotion of International Trade, CISE is the first national-level expo dedicated entirely to supply chain cooperation in the world. But what makes it different from traditional trade shows is its logic, what we call chain logic. Rather than organizing by product categories or business sectors, we show how modern supply chain actually function in an interconnected, interdependent, and dynamic. Here we do not simply showcase products. We show how they work together as part of a bigger and wider industrial ecosystem. It is a platform built for cooperation, not competition, for integration, not fragmentation. It enables companies to connect directly with key players across all supply chains, understand the market needs in real time, and build partnership and deliver tangible results. In just 4 editions, CISCE has achieved remarkable success. The recent expo brought together 1,200 leading companies from 85 countries and regions. In ceremony, what CISCE focuses on is one of the world's most important systems, supply chains. And China is one of the world's most important technology and industrial centers. These words are genuine recognition of the US-China cooperation in global supply chain cooperation. Intel, with the theme of AI landing chip as foundation, brought together dozens of eco-partners, including Chang'an, an EV car maker in China, Luxshare, a major component of consuming electronics, and Tencent. Intel unveiled 2 major solutions, the in-car AI box and the AI home brain. Intel's corporate vice president Sarah Kang described the CISCE atmosphere as full of energy, calling it a platform that brings AI applications, products, and cutting-edge technologies co-developed by all parties to the forefront. The advanced manufacturing chains spans the whole journey from R&D and new material to key components, smart production systems, and high-end equipment. And CISCE, we focus on how global industrial leaders are reshaping production through digitalization and automation. There is one case I simply must share with you, Apple. CISCE is one of the very few exhibitions that have energy chains. These exchanges are supported by supply chain service in this area. Let me share with you how the US companies have made the most of this platform. In the digital technology chain, now upgraded with a dedicated AI zone, we bring together the entire ecosystem from chips and computing powers to AI models and real-world applications. This is where innovation comes to life and where global collaborations drive the next generation of intelligence. And the fourth CISCE, NVIDIA, brought together over 110 upstream and downstream partners to exhibit as a unified front. Its pavilion presented a complete AI 5-layer cake architecture, from energy and chip to infrastructure, large models, and industrial applications, setting a benchmark for two-way empowerment between Chinese and foreign industries. NVIDIA's founder and CEO Jason Huang spoke at the opening ceremony. What CISCE focuses on is one of the world's most important systems, supply chains. And China is one of the world's most important technology and industrial centers. His words are genuine recognition of the US-China cooperation in global supply chain cooperation. Intel, with the theme of AI landing chip as foundation, brought together dozens of eco-partners, including Chang'an, an EV car maker in China, Luxshare, a major component of consuming electronics, and Tencent. Intel unveiled 2 major solutions, the in-car AI box and the AI home brain. Intel's corporate vice president Sarah Kang described the CISCE atmosphere as full of energy, calling it a platform that brings AI applications, products, and cutting-edge technologies co-developed by all parties to the forefront. The advanced manufacturing chains spans the whole journey from R&D and new material to key components, smart production systems, and high-end equipment. And CISCE, we focus on how global industrial leaders are reshaping production through digitalization and automation. There is one case I simply must share with you, Apple. CISCE is one of the very few exhibitions that Apple attends in the world. This year, as it always did in the past 3 editions, Apple exhibited together with its core Chinese suppliers. They showcase the smart manufacturing solutions, low carbon innovation, and labor skill development. These local partners have upgraded their capacity through Apple's rigorous standards, while their innovations now feed back into Apple's global production lines. That is a vivid illustration of Apple's localization in China. The green agriculture chain traces the complete farm-to-table circle, from agricultural imports and smart machinery to digital farming, processing, and distribution. It showcases how global resources can be coupled with local markets to build resilient and sustainable food systems. Camil, another 4-year veteran, showcased its end-to-end value chain capacities, spanning farms, ports, processing facilities, and consumers. By connecting upstream and downstream partners, Camil highlighted the deep integration of global supply networks with the Chinese market. The key point was its $500 million Nantong oil seed plant relocation project, which integrates direct port uploading, advanced processing, and regional distribution capacities to serve a population of 440 million people. The project underscored Camil's supply chain capacities, from global sourcing to local delivery. During the expo, Camil also jointly launched an initiative on building resilience in global agricultural and food supply chains with its eco partners. I believe Pierre will talk about Camil's performance at CIC later on. So I'll stop here and leave more time to you. The healthy lifetime extends across the entire life circle, from medical services and wellness to sports, consumer products, and traditional medicine. At CIC, we see how innovation in healthcare and daily living converges through integrated supply chains. P&G brought its entire smart factory to the site. Humanoid robots developed with Asini Tech, a robot company in Shenzhen, worked on flexible production lines. A 6D magnetic levitation modular line enabled low-cost and rapid expansion. And adaptive robots from Flexiv, another robot company in Shanghai, moved through storage zones. P&G also debuted its tier-lock second-generation packaging, inspired by traditional Chinese joinery techniques, using glue-free wallpaper design for both safety and easy opening. Together, these cases demonstrate how CIC fosters deep integration across R&D, manufacturing, logistics, and packaging. The smart vehicle chain covers core materials, key components, battery technologies, intelligent connectivity, and a charging system. It reflects the collaborative ecosystem that powers tomorrow's mobility, where car makers, AI companies, and energy providers converge. Tesla presented its supply chain ecosystem in a truly unique way. The Model Y exploded view floating display was particularly eye-catching, making the hidden manufacturing process and component fully visible, clearly showing the interconnected supply chain network behind the smart EV car. The clean energy chain is structured around generation, grid, load, and storage, covering wind, solar, hydrogen, nuclear, smart grid, energy storage, and carbon management. It demonstrates how traditional energy players and innovators are collaborating to accelerate global energy transition. ExxonMobil, another full attendance participant, focused on showcasing its latest development of deepening local manufacturing and green innovation in China. They displayed the complete industrial chain from LNG supply and high-end chemical manufacturing to innovative new materials and full-scenario lubrication solutions. The advanced polymer resin materials attracted significant attention from Chinese companies, developing application scenarios in deep sea wind power, high-pressure hydrogen storage, and aerospace. Last but not least, the supply chain service exhibition area highlights digital logistics, supply chain management, finance, consulting, and legal services. This is where the financial institutions, logistics operators, and other service providers support global supply chain functioning. Visa, the global digital payment company, they signed a strategic memorandum with China's leading payment institution, BlackRock, and the fourth CIC. The partnership focuses on cross-border business payment scenarios, enhancing transaction efficiency and capital turnover. Through these examples, you can see what makes CIC truly different. It is just like the deep dish pizza of Chicago, not a thin crust, surface level networking, but layered with opportunity, thick with substance, and one visit leaves you fully satisfied. For large companies, CIC offers a platform to demonstrate supply chain strengths and find strategic partners. For SMEs, it opens a door to global industrial networks. For governments, it provides a venue to showcase industrial policy and attract investment. The fourth CIC welcomed the two foreign guest regions of honor, the Auvergne-Rhône-Alpes region of France and the Liguria region of Italy. The Auvergne presented its high-value industrial capacity in advanced manufacturing, aviation logistics, biotechnology, and digital services. The Liguria Pavilion brought together more than 20 companies to show its advantages on shipping and logistics, port management, and digital technology. The participation of the two regions provided a platform for regional industrial cooperation. So we warmly welcome the great state of Illinois to be part of CIC. This is not a moment for cautious observation from the sidelines, nor is it a moment for retreat. It is a moment for engagement, grounded in mutual interest and practical cooperation. As WTO Director General Ms. Iwila put it, CIC is the right event at the right time. The fifth CIC will take place in Beijing next June. On behalf of the China International Exhibition Center Group, I warmly welcome you to join us. Thank you all.
Thank you. What an impressive event, highlighting kind of the global cooperation between China and the U.S. With that, it was a nice transition. I would actually like to introduce Thea Campanelli, Senior Vice President, Global Communications from Cargill, to share a few remarks. Thank you.
Good morning. Thank you for having Cargill here today. As you heard, it's a distinct pleasure for us to be able to share our experience at the expo. But before I do, I want to extend my sincere appreciation to the China Council for Promotion of International Trade and to the China General Chamber of Commerce in Chicago for having us here today. I would also like to thank Chairman Ren for your leadership and your support and your collaboration and continued engagement with Cargill over the years as we continue to grow and strengthen our presence in China. We greatly appreciated your partnership and your support to Cargill over the years, and we anticipate to continue in the near future. For 161 years, Cargill has connected farmers to markets, customers to ingredients, and people around the world to safe and nutritious food. Today, we operate in over 70 countries and have 155,000 employees that are helping build food systems that are more resilient, more sustainable, and better equipped to nourish a growing world. China has been essential to that work for more than 54 years. And over those 5 decades, Cargill has worked closely with customers, partners, and suppliers in China to drive growth and economic progress. Today, we proudly employ more than 5,500 people across 42 facilities in China, serving customers across agriculture, animal nutrition, food ingredients, and bioindustrial solutions. We remain committed to China for the long term. To date, we've invested more than $2.5 billion in our China operations, including $500 million in the last year alone, to strengthen our supply chains, to expand innovation, and to better serve our customers. Those investments include the construction of our Nantong grain and oilseed supply chain and processing industrial park we just spoke of, and will serve thousands of food and feed companies in the near future. And we will continue to make investments in research, innovation, and manufacturing that strengthen China's food system. That long-term perspective is one of the reasons we greatly value the China International Supply Chain Expo. CIS-CE has become an important platform for bringing together businesses, policymakers, and industry leaders to strengthen supply chains, exchange ideas, and engage in practical cooperation. Cargill has proudly participated in each of the previous 4 expos, and each year, CIS-CE has helped us accomplish 3 important objectives. First, it has helped us demonstrate how integrated, sustainable agricultural supply chains can strengthen food security while creating value for farmers, customers, and consumers. It has created meaningful opportunities to deepen relationships and partnerships throughout China's agricultural and food sectors, from producers, processors, to food manufacturers and retailers. And finally, it has provided an important platform and forum for constructive dialogue with government leaders, industry stakeholders, about the policies and market conditions that support long-term investment and resilient supply chains. We are eagerly looking forward to the 5th Expo. This year, we will showcase solutions that will help build greener, more efficient, and more resilient food systems, from low-carbon supply chains and responsible sourcing to nutritional innovation and digital capabilities. And we look forward to sharing ideas, learning from our partners, and continuing to contribute to the development of China's agricultural and food industries. Throughout Cargill's time in China, agriculture has been one of the strongest foundations of relationship between the U.S. and China. America's farmers help meet China's growing demand for food and agricultural products, and China provides an important market that supports rural communities and agricultural producers across the United States. When agricultural trade is predictable and stable for partners, customers, and consumers, both countries benefit. That is why we are encouraged by the recent dialogues that continue between our 2 governments, including the progress made in the most recent U.S.-China discussions on agriculture. Cargill was proud to participate in those conversations. We believe continued engagement is essential because open dialogue creates the trust and predictability businesses need to invest, innovate, and to build stronger supply chains. Chairman Ren, thank you again for your partnership and for CCPIT's continued leadership in fostering dialogue and international cooperation. We look forward to our work together with our customers and our partners and governments, and we look forward to seeing you in next year's Expo.
Thank you. Now I'd like to welcome to the stage
Pinni will be leading a short panel with Yi Chen, President of Goshen America, Goshen High Tech Company Limited, Mike Plesna, Chief Growth Officer, Clayco, Junan, America Regional Chairman, Good Baby Group, and LaShawn Forrest, Illinois State Representative.
Okay, so we're gonna talk a lot. And this is gonna be the shortest panel I ever moderated. And we're waiting. I mean, it's a small space, so it's no big deal. So I'm very happy to have those representatives from our local community here to talk about their experience in Chicago, talk about their view about U.S.-China relationship. So, because we only have 20 minutes, let's get started, and maybe our panelists each could have a couple minutes to introduce yourself. President Lee, yeah, start from you.
Thanks for the opportunity. I'm Chen Li, currently in charge of Goshen Americas, and we come to Chicago basically to support our customers over here, and also doing the supply chain networks and build up the local compatibility together with the local partners. It's a teamwork, and we're excited to be over here, really to learn and grow and work together with partners.
Good morning. My name is Michael Fassner. I'm the President and Chief Growth Officer at Clayco, one of the largest integrated real estate companies in the country. And I was previously the CEO of Growth in Chicago. I'm really here because just to show my friendship to Chairman Ben, because I have the pleasure to always go at least once a year with him to China as part of the delegation, because I think it's so important to continue the dialogue and the learning between both countries. And it's always an adventure to travel with the chairman, and I'm looking forward to this year's trip.
Thank you. And I'm LaShawn Ford, State Representative of the 8th District and Democratic nominee for the 7th Congressional District Congress. And of course, that is currently Danny K. Davis' seat. I'm happy to be here to listen and to learn more about how we can strengthen our relations. I'm happy that I have one of the mayors from the district, Nathaniel Booker, here that understands that he wants you to come invest in Maywood. He's a great innovator, and I also have a good friend and State Representative Han Nguyen. It's good to see you, Mayor.
Hello everyone, good morning. My name is Michael Q. Yu. I'm the Executive Chairman of American Region for Good Baby International. For the past 30 years, my whole career has been intertwined with the Good Baby's growth in the United States. And Good Baby International was established in 1989 in Kunshan City, Jiangsu Province. For those who don't know, Kunshan is only 18 miles west of Shanghai City. In fact, our group office headquarters is in Gongqiao, transportation hub. Good Baby started then, for the last 37 years, it's been growing from a small school affiliated factory that was on the verge of bankruptcy into today's global juvenile leading industrial leader. For the last 37 years, there has been a lot of up and downs, but today we're truly the leader in this industry, and it has been serving the 120 countries, millions of families. So I'm responsible for American business, so I'm excited to be here. Thanks everyone.
Yeah, they told me I need to be the translator for Mr. QU.
Because nobody can pronounce my last name. It's actually Qu. In Chinese means music.
Yeah, so it is a music here today. So let's start with Mr. Lee. Goshen has been such a wonderful story in the state of Illinois. And in the last few years, if some of you are not from local, Goshen has committed to invest billions of dollars and to create thousands of jobs in our local community. So I know our governor was very excited, the whole community was very excited, and obviously this is a perfect example about what those Chinese companies can do to our local community. the question is that, this is obviously a difficult time. So from many fronts. And I just wanted you to share with us, what is behind your decision to pick Illinois as your new home, and how do you feel about your experience here?
Sure, thanks for the question. I think aligning with your thoughts about the difficult times, I think the challenges create opportunities. Just like yesterday, I think we all had the challenges on the windy city flying over here in Chicago, but all in all, we come over here together in teamwork. So I think for Goshen, basically, first I would like to express our thanks for the China International Supply Chain Expo. Because of that platform, we understand it's not just a platform for the product introduction, but also a platform to get connected with the customers, technology innovators, and also industrial scalability. So that during that platform, we really learned that together. Actually, the 6 chains that Mr. Lin showed over here, we all can support and learn and build up together from that. Secondly, I think in the industry, new energy vehicle industry or the clean energy industry, battery right now is not only a single component of the automaker, but already transitioned from a single automaker component into an integral part of the utility, AI infrastructure, data center, those kind of industries. I kind of support as a backbone, one of the backbones to support the electricity, to power the future together. And we really learned from the innovation and from ourselves and also through partners together with the entire supply chain. So that really makes Goshen from a battery company not only focused on battery, but also supply chain, all the way from the mining, cathode anode materials, battery cells, battery systems, and battery applications, all the way through the entire integral part of the supply chain. And lastly, as one of the examples, as Penny mentioned, we come over here in Chicago, in the greater Chicagoland, because one of our key customers over here actually is Rivet, and we come over here back in 2021 actually, when we worked with them and started to ship the batteries that are made in China and shipped to the US. Actually, I get the number to everybody, to share with everybody. Every month right now, we ship around 2,700 to 2,800 battery packs to the US for the customers, for the vehicles actually implemented in the one of the platforms is the Amazon delivery car. If you see the Amazon delivery car with the wrong light right now, it's powered by Goshen batteries with revamped vehicles, and it's delivered to everybody's homes over here in the US. And really, we come over here to support right now to get more manufacturing. Actually, this month, we delivered 30 packs from our Manteno plant as a starting point. It accounts for 10%, almost 10% of the entire volumes. Right now, we're building up the capability in order to better support the supply chain and also to support the local resilience of the supply chain. And in summary, it's kind of a global collaboration, local commitment, and also together with a shared success. I think that's one of the things when we choose Chicagoland over here. That's a key reason for the open-mindedness and the innovations cluster over here that really drives Goshen to together with partners to grow.
So, thank you. So, the local commitment, that's a very strong word. And so thank you for your true commitment to create so many jobs here locally in Illinois. So Michael, to you. And you're right, from our first roadshow trip to China, you were together with us. And at that time, I believe you were the president of World Business Chicago. So now you work for Clayco, different job, but it still looks like you are still thinking about the same. So tell us about your experience. Obviously you have different role at different job with different function, but your connection with China, your belief, you were with us every single year. You saw In fact, you're the best media officer for our delegation. So tell us about your experience and what do you have seen in the last few years about from our trip as well as from your communication. I know you know Ocean as well, and you guys were partners. So anyway.
Thank you for the question. I think my incoming belief is we cannot solve the biggest challenges that mankind faces alone in the United States. We cannot. We need the brilliance, the innovation power of all countries around the world, including China, with its amazing talent, with its innovation power. That's the only way we can change climate challenges, the transition to electricity-driven industry, medicine, life sciences. So this is my fundamental belief. At the same time, we compete with China. And that's okay. Competition is a good thing. So I think sometimes people get confused, is it cooperation or competition? I think it's both. You have to compete some area. On the other hand, I think what Goshen is doing is not just good for Goshen and Illinois, it's fundamental to the United States of America because China is advanced in battery manufacturing and scale. The United States is 5 to 10 years behind. So if we want to build a more carbon neutral society in the United States, we need to have partnership with Chinese companies like Goshen. We need the manufacturing excellence here on site. That's just the truth. The same thing on solar panels. So whenever I go to China, I want to learn. Last year was the key topics of robotics. I came back and told my company, China is leading in robotics, and we have to learn and partner because the supply chain ecosystem that China has built in robotics, we have nothing in comparison. So this is my fundamental belief, and I think that learning and dialogue is both ways. That's why I think it's so important that the Chinese delegation is here in Chicago. I think we're going back to China. So, but I think it comes back to my fundamental belief. We cannot solve the biggest challenge we all face alone. We can only do this in partnership with honesty and transparency.
Thank you. So you're going to join us again this year? And so Representative Ford, first of all, we're very honored to have you here. And I can promise you, everybody here is going to vote for you in November. So, just a little bit of background, the district you're going to, running for in November covers the Chinatown in Chicago. So Congressman Davis has been such a huge supporter to the Chinese American community. And obviously, you're going to carry his mission forward. So we thank you for that. And it's not just about U.S.-China as a national relationship. I like what Mike said. Nobody can solve all the problems. It's more about the community, more about everybody's daily life. So, obviously, we will have another party for you when you're elected, but we still want to hear from you in terms of, you have nothing in China. And we were talking about go to China together, and but I want to hear from you, from your perspective, what do you see as an opportunity for us to work together, as Mike said, to build the community better?
Yeah, thank you. It's good to see Governor Pat Quinn here. He's definitely a strong advisor. He's been advising me, and so I know that I have a strong friend and him. He's a friend in this room. What I see is everyone knows that the U.S. and China depends on each other, and the better we can cooperate with one another is good, not only for China's economy, it's good for America's economy, but it's good for the global economy. And so when I look at not having cooperation and negotiations and listening, I think it just hurts the whole global economy. And so I think when you look at race relations, when you're not being serious about including all people in the economy, it hurts the economy. And so I know that as the congressman, if elected, that I want to look for ways that we could strengthen relationships for a strong global economy. And making sure that we do everything we can, as we hear, locally is very important. So it's been a real honor to serve as a state representative. And with Han Nguyen, we know that local government and state government is very important to national and global relations. So we have very good relations here in Illinois, and we know, tell everyone, we have strong public universities right here, and we look forward to growing that relationship.
Thank you. Good luck in November. So now, we love good babies. And my question is very simple. When are you going to put your office here in Chicago? Mayor, I'm doing my job. So now, come to the real, so what's your plan? What do you think about USA market? You know, obviously, your product, your service is very interesting, and it's very important to our next generation, for sure. So we just want to know what's your plan about your expansion in the United States. Hopefully, Chicago will be one of your, destinations.
It's not about a plan. We're already doing it. For those who sit in the audience, if you are American in this market, you would know a very famous, well-known legacy brand called Evenflow. This was 100 years history, and I talk about our U.S. business started in 1994, but 20 years forward in 2014, we acquired the Evenflow company. So today, in the U.S. market, we are Evenflow. It's owned by this listed company called Good Baby International in Hong Kong. But Evenflow is about making the children's safety seat. The U.S. only have 350 million people, maybe 1/3 of what China has. But the market is about 4 times bigger than the Chinese market because the safety seat is a mandatory required by law when you bring the children out on the road. So we call ourselves, we're in the children's life protection business because when you put a baby in the seat, in the unfortunate event of automobile accident, if you save the baby, then you save the whole family. So we receive the thanks letter every week, from everyday consumer talking about, how terrible the accident was, but the baby sitting in the Evenflow seat was protected and could walk away with only minor scratches. So it's very, for me, it's very proud. The company was established by this gentleman. His last name is S-O-N-G, which in Chinese also means song and music, which is an interesting coincidence. He was a middle school math teacher, middle school principals. So when we acquired Evenflow, he gave me 2 guiding principles. One is the global, one is One Dragon strategy. Global means, like Li Chen also mentioned, we are an American brand, so it has the American heritage. It has a very talented American team. It also has the trust that the American consumer placed into this brand. So we need to carry on with that by letting American management team to manage American business. So in fact, today, with our 200 large team, I'm the only executive member in our leadership team. I represent the group, but I don't get involved in the day-to-day execution. I interact with our major customers like Amazon, Walmart, and Target. That's the major channel where our sell our product through. 85% of the product are selling through the major channel, and we do our own evenflow.com. If you get online, you will see our children's safety seat and the stroller products. And we have a factory in America. We use a very vast supply chain. Our safety belt is coming from Sweden, and some of the higher end fabric coming from Italy and Korea. So it's really, we are in the middle of this international globalization. I call, our practice in business is a true embodiment of the globalization that is using American innovation combined with the excellence of the manufacturer to create value for consumer for both China and the US market.
Thank you. So I wish we have another 20 minutes, but nevertheless, let's give a round of applause to our panelists. Thank you so much. And also, I just want to recognize we have 2 distinguished guests just arrived, Congressman Jackson. Again, another great supporter to our local community and a wonderful role model in terms of citizens. So thank you, Congressman. And also Governor Quinn. If you're talking about Cargill, talking about trade, talking about soybean, this is the man. Thank you.
All right, I'd like to welcome to this podium now the Honorable Lori Lightfoot, former Mayor of Chicago. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. You can do better than that.
Good morning.
It's a beautiful summer day in Chicago, and I want to welcome you one and all. It's our great honor to have with us today so many esteemed representatives of the People's Republic of China, led by the Honorable Chairman Ren of the China Council for the Promotion of International Trade. It's our honor to have our esteemed Chinese Consul General also here in the audience, and so many local, state, and federal representatives, and of course, business leaders of all sorts. Thank you, Chairman Pin, for inviting me to this important gathering, and it's my honor to offer some brief remarks this morning. Now, we are all very clear-eyed about the state of our world. Challenging is an understatement to describe the international and national environment. But I think we can focus realistically on hope and optimism. Let's look no further than the commitment that our two presidents made to each other and to the world. Coming out of the May summit between our two presidents, there are certain points that should not be in dispute. The bilateral relationship between our two countries remains vitally important, not just to China and to the U.S., but to the world. And following the leadership of our presidents, we should seek to deepen our common ground. Now, we have more, I believe, that we have more to gain from our cooperation and collaboration, and much more to lose through conflict. We have a responsibility as the world's two great superpowers to lead by our example and show the best in a healthy bilateral relationship. And of course, one important way to deepen that relationship is the spirit of cooperation that we can gain by strengthening our economic balance. Like every Chicago speaker here today, we want to encourage you to choose Chicago and Chicagoland for investment. We have many economic positives in our favor. You will no doubt hear a lot about our economy by the numbers. From the size and diversity of our economy to the number of corporate relocations, our exceptional transportation and logistics infrastructure, the many Fortune 50 companies that have headquarters here in Chicago, and how year in and year out, we are rated best in the country on a number of key market indicators. Phil, I didn't want to steal your thunder. No, you got it. But I do want to highlight a few additional and often overlooked issues that are important for you to know when making a decision about coming to the Midwest, and particularly Chicago and Chicagoland, to invest. We have a highly educated workforce here in Chicago. And let me put a finer point on this. Every year, we have approximately 200,000 college and university students here in just Chicago who are drawn to our great universities like my alma mater, the University of Chicago, Northwestern University, and the University of Illinois at Chicago, just to name a few. What does that mean? It means that we have a deep, highly educated workforce that is ready, willing, and able to work. Our young people, I truly believe, are the backbone of our economy, not just for today, but for the future and year after year. Not only do we have a strong, diverse economy, We are centrally located to other markets throughout the upper Midwest for all of your needs. Within a few hours drive, you can be deep in farmland in Illinois, Wisconsin, Michigan, Indiana, Ohio, and beyond, as our friends from Cargill can attest. If you're looking for advanced manufacturing, look no further in this region, which is the home to General Motors in Detroit, Caterpillar in Peoria, John Deere in Moline, and Illinois Toolworks in suburban Chicago, just to name a few. This region has and will continue to have a vibrant group of international manufacturing companies that compete in global markets, all within easy reach of Chicago. And the same is true for our thriving life sciences sector and our tech communities. Food and agriculture has simply exploded in the last few years, and we are a leader in food innovation here in Chicago, up and down the supply chain. And there's no doubt that Chicago is a gateway to these important industries where innovation is happening every day. And I'd be remiss, as our friends from Citi can attest, if I didn't mention the strong international financial sector here in Chicago, Chicagoland, and the Midwest, in banking, in finance, capital market, venture capital, as well as startup investment. So from our highly educated and skilled workforce, our diverse industries, which power the third largest economy in the United States, and our central location to many markets that are going to be important for your businesses, I urge you to consider making investment here in Chicago, in Chicagoland. And as a born and raised Midwesterner and proud of it, we have a great culture. We are very nice people. We are welcoming, and we are affordable. We have a lot to offer, and importantly, we are open for business. So thank you, enjoy your time here, and take advantage of all that our great city and our region have to offer. It's an honor to speak with you this morning. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Lightfoot, and thank you for being one of the best champions for Chicago. I'd like to welcome now the Honorable Wang Baodong, General Counsel, People's Republic of China.
Honorable Congressman Jonathan Jackson, State Representative Roadshow, Honorable former Governor of Queen, former Mayor Lightfoot, Honorable Chairman Lin, Chairman Lipi, distinguished entrepreneurs, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Good morning. Yes, it gives me great pleasure to join friends both on new attend the China-U.S. Economic and Trade Cooperation Forum and the promotion event for the 5th CISCE. First of all, on behalf of the Chinese Consulate General in Chicago, I'd like to extend my warmest welcome to Chairman Lin and the Chinese business delegation visiting Chicago, and my sincere appreciation to friends from all sectors who've long supported China-U.S. economic and trade cooperation and sub-national exchanges between our two countries. This year is a big year for China-U.S. relations. At the invitation of President Xi Jinping, President Donald Trump paid a successful state visit to China in May. The two presidents agreed to build a constructive China-U.S. relations of strategic stability, providing strategic guidance for the future development of our bilateral relationship, and showing the way forward for greater interaction and collaboration between the business communities of our two countries. The two presidents also agreed that President Xi will pay a state visit to the U.S. this fall. The diplomatic, economic and trade, and law enforcement teams, among others, of both sides, are now making active preparations for the visit. And I'm confident that this coming visit in September will inject fresh and strong momentum into the continued growth of this most important and most influential bilateral relationship in the world. This July marks the 250th anniversary of the founding of the U.S., as well as the 105th anniversary of the founding of the Communist Party of China. So these two major historical milestones underscore the extraordinary development journeys of our two countries. China and the U.S. have different national foundations, but our peoples share common aspirations for a better life, social stability, and economic prosperity. As President Xi pointed out during his meeting with President Trump in Beijing, realizing the great rejuvenation of the Chinese nation and making America great again can go hand in hand and enable the two countries to achieve mutual success. Our two sides should work together to translate the important common understandings reached by our two presidents into concrete policies and practical actions, expand areas of collaboration, expand the cooperation list, shorten the negative list, properly address sensitive issues, the Taiwan question particularly, so as to deliver greater benefits to the peoples of our countries and to the international community at large. Ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, economic and trade cooperation serves as the ballast of China-U.S. relations and represents a key manifestation of the shared interests of our two countries. China and the U.S. are highly complementary and have tremendous potential for cooperation in areas such as agriculture, advanced manufacturing, healthcare, and financial services. Just to mention a few areas. In the Midwest region, the state of Illinois and the city of Chicago in particular have long been a fertile ground for mutually beneficial economic and trade cooperation and a model of the deep integration of the industrial and supply chains of our two countries. So through concrete actions, the two sides have demonstrated the commitment to rejecting decoupling and severing supply chains and will open up broader space for more win-win results in the future. At present, China is firmly advancing high-quality development and a high-standard opening up, while continuing improving its business and investment environment. Not long ago, President Xi pointed out in his speech at the National Science and Technology Awards Conference that China is accelerating its transition from a participant and a contributor in global science and technology to a pioneer and leader, and has become one of the countries with the fastest growing innovation capabilities. Our two presidents agree in Beijing, as many of you know, that China and the US will launch an intergovernmental dialogue on artificial intelligence. So under the new context, our two countries should actively explore opportunities to strengthen mutually beneficial cooperation at a higher level and across more areas. When it comes to CISCE, as the world's first national level exhibition dedicated to supply chains, it has provided a major platform for maintaining the stability and the smooth functioning of global industrial and supply chains. China warmly welcomes more enterprises from the U.S., particularly the Midwest, to actively participate in the expo, make full use of this platform, and share in the opportunities arising from China's vast market and high-tech innovation. And my consulate will, as always, continue to serve as a bridge and a link and provide high-quality services and support to enterprises from both countries. Finally, I wish this forum and the promotion event every success. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Consul General Wang. I'd like now to introduce the Honorable Congressman Jonathan Jackson, who representative
Thank you so much. I'd like to first announce my former governor and friend, Honorable Ted Quinn, dear colleague and esteemed guest, Dr. B.J. Prabhakar. Can't miss him in the pink suit. I'd like to say hello to my dear friend, Dr. Sam Petroda, a man that I've looked up to for his business savvy, and the father of India Telecom. And I've studied his career, my whole professional career. To my dear friend, Penny, thank you for your leadership. Thank you for your counsel and friendship. And the Council General, thank you for your outstanding commitment to building bridges. My brief remarks will be that on this morning, I'd like to thank the distinguished businesses, guests, the leaders, our honored guests that are here today, our friends from China, and those that are from across the Chicagoland area and our nation. It's a privilege to welcome you to one of the world's greatest cities. They said this is the city of broad shoulders, the city that was meant to be. A city where commerce, culture, and courage have long walked hand in hand. Before I begin, Penny, I can't thank you enough for your leadership and vision and your tireless hard work, your commitment to African American colleges, your commitment to universities, to strengthening ties amongst relations and people across the United States. You've helped build bridges where there have been misunderstanding through business education and friendship. They carry more than commerce, they carry trust. Please give Penny a round of applause. And next, welcome to Chicago. The city has always been a crossroads of the world. Its railways have connected America, its markets have fed America, its industries have built America, and its people coming from every nation, every language, and every faith have helped define America. The Chinese-American story is woven into that history. More than a century ago, Chinese immigrants arrived with dreams larger than obstacles before them. They established businesses, opened restaurants, opened trading companies, started family enterprises, and created opportunities not only for themselves, but for generations that followed. Chicago's Chinatown stands
as more than a neighborhood, it's a living testament to perseverance, entrepreneurship, and to community. The American economy is stronger because Chinese Americans believed in it enough to invest their labor, their ingenuity, and their hopes. But your contribution reaches beyond simply businesses. I want to remind you that in 1898, the United States of America, in its Supreme Court decision, United States versus Wong Kim Ark, a person of Chinese ancestry, that landmark decision affirmed that every child born on American soil is a citizen under the 14th Amendment, regardless of the nationality of its parents. It strengthened a constitutional promise that has defined generations of Americans and reaffirmed the principle that created equal justice under the law is a foundation of our democracy. The Wong Kim Ark. It was a Supreme Court case that guaranteed birthright citizenship in the United States of America. That case reminds us that when one community secures a constitutional right, the promise of liberty is strengthened for everyone. There is another chapter of this story that deserves to be told. The journey of Chinese Americans and African Americans are different, yet they share important things. Both communities have experienced discrimination. Both have known what it means to confront exclusion and misunderstanding. Both have relied on family, faith, and education, entrepreneurship, and determination to overcome barriers. And both communities have demonstrated that progress is greatest when we stand together rather than apart. Across Chicago, Chinese-owned businesses have served African-American neighborhoods, African-American churches, civic organizations, and community leaders have worked alongside Asian organizations to expand educational opportunities, promote economic development, and defend civil rights. Those partnerships remind us that prosperity grows stronger when communities invest in one another. We should never allow differences in language, culture, or backgrounds to become barriers to cooperation. They can become sources of innovation, creativity, and mutual respect. Businesses are more than profits. Businesses create jobs. Businesses build neighborhoods. Businesses support schools. Businesses give young people a reason to believe that hard work can produce opportunity. Every company represented here has the power not only to strengthen markets, but also to strengthen communities. As we look forward to the future, let us build partnerships that create opportunities for the next generation. Let us encourage young entrepreneurs, expand educational exchanges, invest in innovation, and open doors that talent, not circumstances, determine who walks through. The measure of success is not only what we earn, it is what we also build, whomever we empower, and what we leave behind for our children. So let this gathering be more than a celebration of commerce. Let it be a celebration of cooperation. Let it be a celebration of constitutional values, and let it be a celebration of the belief that when people of different backgrounds work together with integrity and purpose, everyone rises.
Thank you, Congressman Jackson, for those inspiring words. Next, I'd like to welcome up my boss, Phil Clement, President and CEO of World Business Chicago.
All right, who gets to follow Congressman Jackson? Thank you, sir. Always a pleasure. First of all, good morning. Welcome to Chicago. It's an honor to join such a distinguished group of leaders committed to strengthening economic ties between the United States and China. I especially want to thank my friend and board member, Pin Ni. Pin has been much more than a supporter of Chicago-China relations. He's been a bridge builder. He's a booster. He's one of Chicago's greatest assets. And for many years, he's brought people together. Business leaders, government officials, investors, and communities, often before there was a transaction or a project on the table. I would ask you to give applause, but he's told me to hurry up. I know that matters to him more. So this also matters because the strongest economic relationships are rarely built around a single meeting. They're built over time through trust, consistency, and people who continue opening doors for one another. We are so fortunate to have PIN's leadership, especially during these challenging times of international relations. WBC is fortunate to count PIN and the CGCC Chicago team among our most important partners in maintaining and strengthening Chicago's relationship with China. CCPIT has likewise been an essential partner in creating the institutional and business connections that allow relationships to grow. Chicago's relationship with China is growing. In 1985, more than 40 years ago, Chicago established sister city relationships with both Shanghai and Shenzhen. China remains unique in having two sister cities relationships with Chicago, and these are very special relationships. In 2013, another important chapter began with the Chicago-China Gateway Cities Partnership, connecting Chicago with 8 major Chinese cities and creating a framework specifically focused on trade, investment, and job creation. Then, in 2015, the CGCC Chicago was established here in our city. Over the following decade, it grew into an important platform connecting companies and leaders across China, Chicago, and the broader Midwest. Relationships between great cities and great economies are not built in a year or even a decade. They're built one conversation, one visit, and one company, and one friendship at a time. And these friendships result in real economic opportunity. Over the past 13 years, the City of Chicago and World Business Chicago have completed 16 visits to China, including 3 led by the Mayor of Chicago and 5 by the Deputy Mayor. Hopefully, you see the continuity in those relationships and the fact that Mayor Lori Lightfoot presented Chicago to you so well today, and that Michael Fashna, who was my predecessor in my role, is also here and passing torches and relationships hand to hand. At World Business Chicago, our job is ultimately about the future. And when we look at what will shape the next generation of the global economy, quantum, advanced manufacturing, artificial intelligence, robotics, clean energy, mobility, life sciences, we see enormous opportunities for Chicago and Chinese companies to work together. Chicago brings, as well presented by the mayor, the 3 Ps together. We have a great location, what we call place, people, and power. I'm even optimistic that the next chapter of Chicago-China relationships can be even more consequential than the last. In Chicago, hope has a home. I like to say, from presidents to popes, this city has shown the world what can happen when hope becomes action. President Barack Obama built a movement around hope and collaboration, and the newly opened Obama Presidential Center now carries that legacy forward on Chicago's South Side. Today, Chicago is also the birthplace of Pope Leo XIV, a son of the city whose life of service now reaches the world. That is Chicago. We do not simply believe in possibility, we work together to build it. And it's with that I extend a very warm welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, Bill. I'd like to welcome up to the podium the Honorable Pat Quinn, former Governor of Illinois.
Well, it's an honor to be here. I want to commend everyone for coming together and working together. I think that's the key to success in anything in life. Everybody has to sometimes not worry about who takes the credit, but work together in a cooperative way for the common good. And I do want to thank Penny for inviting me and for being a good friend. When I was governor, I appointed Penn to our export council, advisory council. He was very, very helpful. We did a lot of good things together, and we're continuing to do good things together. I want to acknowledge Congressman Jonathan Jackson, I've known for a great deal of time. knew his dad extremely well. We miss him and will always miss him. But his kind of spirit is the kind of spirit that is what Chicago is about, what Illinois and America is about, and we have to be spirited if we're going to be successful on planet Earth in the 21st century. And I think our biggest challenge, as was mentioned earlier, is to make sure that our climate is one that's hospitable to human beings. It's interesting that the Illinois Constitution, our state constitution, was adopted in 1970, and a friend of mine was a delegate to the Constitutional Convention. She's passed on, but she lived in the south side of Chicago and South Shore, where I was born, and she was committed to having in the new Constitution an environmental article, an article that said that every person is entitled to a healthful environment. And it's the duty of all of us, not just government, but all of us, to provide and maintain a healthful environment for this generation and for future generations. So I really feel our gathering today is part of that spirit. We heard about battery technology earlier, very, very important. I think clean energy is super important. When I was governor, I worked with Penn and putting together a solar initiative in Rockford, Illinois, at that time our second largest city. And it's important that we understand whether it's wind, or power, or geothermal, that we work together to make sure that we have the kind of clean energy for the 21st century. Clearly there's an electricity challenge right now with the growth of data centers. Very, very controversial in our state, in our country. And we have to understand that information and transparency is important when you talk about AI and data centers. It'll be a very great revolt against data centers if we don't appreciate that everybody has to be in and nobody left out when it comes to discussing this particular technology and making sure that the large centers do not exhaust our water and our electricity, raise bills on everyday people, everyday businesses. When I was governor, I went to China. It was a great honor to go to Beijing and then to Shanghai and then later Hong Kong. But when I was in Shanghai, we dedicated a sister river agreement between the Illinois River and the Hangpu River in Shanghai. And I think that it was a very good symbol of water cooperation. We all need water on planet Earth. There was a great American writer in the, I guess, the 19th century. He lived a little bit into the 20th century, but he lived along the river, the Mississippi River. His name was Mark Twain. And he said that whiskey's for drinking and water's worth fighting for. And so it's very important that we all understand that cooperation on water technology and things that make sure that we have clean water are a super important issue for now and into the future. So when I was governor, we did a lot of things with water, investing. We had a clean water initiative where we invested public money in programs for delivering clean water, drinking water, but also clean wastewater treatment and dealing with flooding and so on. So it's a very important business issue that we can work together on. As you may know, this is the Chicago River out here, which is a tributary of the Illinois River. We're not very far from Lake Michigan. The Great Lakes are the largest source of clean water on planet Earth. So there's a lot of opportunities, economic opportunities, and government opportunities for us to work together. Related to that, there is in the Illinois River, we aren't particularly happy it happened, but it did. And when I went to China, I was talking, we had a lunch with the University of Illinois in Beijing. And Illinois has many, many alumni in China, the University of Illinois. And we have other great universities, as was mentioned. I went to Northwestern Law School. Mayor Lightfoot went to the University of Chicago Law School. We have great, great universities in that brain power is something you always want to keep in mind. But when we were there, I learned that back turn of the century, around 1900, President Teddy Roosevelt negotiated a treaty, and the University of Illinois stepped up and offered, rather than getting any kind of remuneration or compensation, they said that we would want to have scholarships in Illinois for Chinese students coming from China, learning here at our state and our country. And that was one of the reasons that Illinois, the university, has so many alumni and families who are connected to our university. We want to keep that going. But when we were at the luncheon in Beijing, I had recently been to the Illinois River. We have a particular fish in the Illinois River. It jumps out of the river when it hears the motorboats coming by. They're called the Asian carp. Before I left for China, I said we wanted to try and develop a market in China for Illinois Asian carp. Our carp are particularly tasty because the water is very clean and people like to eat them. And so I said, if we can't eat them, if we can't get rid of the Asian carp, then let's eat them. And that's what we had at that luncheon. I ate Asian carp from Illinois in Beijing, China. I do want to commend my good friend. He's my somebody who's going to be my congressman. It's a very good friend of mine who's been in the legislature for quite some time and a very strong advocate, and it's important to get to know Representative LaShawn Ford, soon to be Congressman LaShawn Ford. I think these political connections with Mayor Lightfoot, with all of those who are holding public office in Illinois, to make sure they understand how important China is to our world, and our cooperation where possible with China is super important. I do want to finish up. Pin mentioned soybeans. My nickname when I was governor was Soy Boy. Our state is the #1 state at growing soybeans. George Washington Carver, a great inventor, a black man who really came up with all kinds of products, especially from soybeans. He was hired by Henry Ford for the Model T to build the steering wheels from soybeans. So many things can come from soybeans, not just food, which we all want to eat, and we want to eat tofu, or certainly our animals like eating soybeans. But soybeans is a miracle product. Not far from here, the Shedd Aquarium has a roof. It used to be a roof with asphalt. Well, we have asphalt roof. The sun's beating down. We've had some hot days this summer. It just makes the building hotter. And if we're going to have a clean energy environment, we've got to be very creative and innovative at products that help us reduce the heat in buildings and be more energy efficient. And there is a product made from soybeans. It's a white paint. And I've been there to the top of the roof of the Shedd Aquarium. I was up there with a roller, and we had white paint made from Illinois soybeans, and I rolled it onto the roof, the asphalt roof, with a bunch of others. I didn't get any paint on my shoes, and because of that white paint, the sun now doesn't get absorbed by the roof in the building, but it reflects off. It's right next to Lake Michigan. It's a creative way, the way human beings come together and figure out ways to how do we make this building more energy efficient. It doesn't use as much air conditioning in the hot summer because the white paint reflects heat off. So I really feel that's sort of the hallmark of this gathering today, putting great minds together, people from different parts of the world, no doubt. We don't all agree, and we have important differences, and it's important not to ignore that. We have to realize that sometimes we don't agree. But when we can't come together for the good of mankind, for the people on planet Earth, and I had the honor, actually, at a planetarium that's located here, a good friend of mine by the name of Jim Lowell. He just passed away. He was an astronaut. He was one of the few human beings to fly around the moon. He was a great movie star, it turned out, in Apollo 13. But Jim Lowell understood that all of us on planet Earth have a duty to each other to make sure we leave the planet better than we found it. And it seems to me this gathering today is a great opportunity to renew that commitment, find new friendships, look for good opportunities that maybe we never even thought of, whether it's water or soybean paint. Together, we can make the will of people the law of the land. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Governor Quinn. I'd like to introduce to the stage our final speaker today, the Honorable Chairman Ren Hongbin, Chairman, China Council for the Promotion of International Trade.
Good morning, dear friends. Congressman. Yeah, we should foster new drivers for mutually beneficial cooperation. So after years of development of our two economies deeply integrated, as businesses from both sides deepen cooperation, they empower each other and grow each other. The latest report by the U.S.-China Business Council shows that in 2025, 92% of surveyed companies will profit in China. 95% respondents said China operation helped them maintain globally competitive. So in the first half of this year, trade in goods between China and the U.S. reached $289 billion, roughly flat year on year. So notably, trade rebounded strongly in the second quarter. It was with 14.7% increase year on year. So I think that is also new, fresh momentum just after the two hands of meeting. So many Chinese companies have come to grow in the U.S. market. So we just mentioned a lot about the Mr. Ni represented company as Wanxiang, and also the Goshen company, a very successful example here in Illinois. So I think that they have been writing a great story of win-win collaboration with local partners. So in 2005, the CCTIT, just another example for the bilateral strengthening relations. In 2005, the CCTIT and the U.S. Department of Commerce jointly launched the Commercial Matchmaking Program. It's the CMP program. Since then, 27 local offices have been set up across China, and several thousands of Chinese and American businesses, making the program a trustworthy brand in China-U.S. business cooperation. I hope that companies in both countries continue to leverage this platform. As we embrace the digital, intelligent, and green transitions, I count on our business communities to create new growth drivers for cooperation, deliver tangible outcomes, and bring more positive momentum to bilateral economic and trade ties. Second, we should expand cooperation in industrial and supply chains. As the supply chains of China and the U.S. are deeply intertwined, mutual success and shared prosperity have become a visible and a tangible reality. China has a complete industrial system and a strong production capacity, while the U.S. has a solid industrial base and a deep technological expertise. Success stories of industrial cooperation between the two sides are countless. For example, McDonald's, present with us today, is a case in point. For over 30 years in China, it has worked with local suppliers and built a Mac chain that stretches from farm to table. Of course, the Cargill was another very important success story with a strong presence in China. So it was just mentioned by my colleague, Mr. Lin, since 2023, CCPID has successfully hosted 4 sessions of the China International Supply Chain Expo. So it was the first global nationwide exhibition dedicated to supply chain cooperation. So I think that should be a new platform for China-US to strengthen the business bonds, and especially cooperation through the entire industry and the supply chains. And this expo mainly focus on technology, industry, and innovation cooperation. And also the US companies always take up the first, the biggest numbers of the companies and the biggest area of the space during the expo. So we welcome more US companies from the Midwest, especially, to participate the fifth edition, which will be held in June last year. So third, we should break new ground in multilateral cooperation. This year marks the APEC China year. So Chinese and US business communities have worked closely together. As the third APAC meeting, so the APEC Business Advisory Council meeting earlier this month, the two sides jointly proposed the Asia-Pacific Supply Chain Cooperation Platform, so which received wide acclaim from all parties. In November, the CCPID will host the APEC CEO Summit and other major events in Shenzhen, Guangdong Province, China. So I cordially invite all present businesses to come to Shenzhen, Guangdong Province to participate in the CEO Summit and other major events of the business related. So since 2003, so from the San Francisco APEC meeting, we started with our US counterpart, putting forward a common proposal about the supply chain cooperation there. So this year will be the 4th year. So China-US will put forward the joint proposal about strengthening cooperation through whole chain, whole supply chain there. So I think it showcases that China-US not only can cooperate, strengthen the cooperation bilaterally, but also we showcase our spirit and effort to cooperate on a multilateral forum. So that is, I think, very important, the APEC meeting in November this year. So dear friends, this year marks the beginning of China's 15th five-year plan. The plan not only charts the course for China's economic and social development over the next 5 years, but also presents a roster of opportunities for the world. In the first half of this year, despite rising international turbulence and uncertainty, China's economy grew by 4.7% year-on-year, demonstrating strong resilience and vitality. Evolving from the world's factory to the world's market and now an innovation hub. China will further expand institutional opening up and steadily foster a market-oriented, law-based, internationalized business environment. We welcome more US companies to come to China, embrace China Opportunity 2.0, and achieve greater success in China. The city of Chicago is renowned as the world capital of architecture. The great architect Daniel Bonan once said, "Make no small plans." So in other words, stay ambitious and aim high for the better future. Let's build on the momentum generated by the successful leaders meeting in Beijing, forge ahead with determination, and embark on a new journey of mutual benefit and a winning cooperation. So CCPID stands ready to work with you to deliver more outcomes in China-US economic and trade cooperation. In closing, I wish this event complete success, and thank you again for the organizing this very successful event. And I welcome all of you to come to China, be our guest in China in Beijing.
All right, that concludes the speaking program today. I'll echo what Chairman Ren said about it being a wonderful display of international cooperation, a great showcase of Chicago, and opportunities for continued collaboration. With that, I'd like to invite representatives from the CIEC group and CGCC group to participate in the MOU signing ceremony.
Yeah, no, we moved something that's small enough that yeah, but even we're in Rushville. Yeah, we moved down. We've always wanted kids, so we went home, kids are gone, and one of them was Northwestern, so he's going She'd gone from 28 acres to 600 square feet. The balcony was just not. Then she was actually getting old. She couldn't do